You know, when I see it in stone, 'cause you went away. How dare you? I miss you. They say I'll be okay, but I'm not going to ever get over you.
Miranda Lambert with Over You, Real Country, where today it is National Banana Bread Day, National Dog Biscuit Day. It's also World Spade Day, and it's Confederate Railroad. This is Daddy Never Was the Cadillac Kind.
We were poor when I was a young'un. I don't remember ever going hungry. Daddy made sure we didn't do without. I went to school with some of these fellas. They had money and I was jealous. I didn't know then what I know now. Daddy'd say you can't judge a book by looking at the cover. It's what's inside that really matters. Daddy never was a Cadillac kind. He said some things just glitter and shine. Taught us that love was the one thing money couldn't buy. Daddy never was the Cadillac kind. I left home right out of high school. Got me a big car, thought it was real cool. Cruising around the old neighborhood. I'd see Daddy after church on Sunday. Say you'll have to go riding with me someday. Just said no, I never understood. He asked me how I bought it. I told him on credit. Daddy just smiled. I'll never forget it. Daddy never was the Cadillac kind. He said some things just glitter and shine. Taught us that love was the one thing money couldn't buy. Daddy never was the Cadillac kind. It took a while, but now I'm grown. Settled down with kids of my own. The more I give them, the more they want. Daddy left us last November. I don't remember him ever looking better, all laid out in his Sunday best. I'm sure instead of all that attention, all he'd have wanted was a few words mentioned. A simple man simply laid to rest. As they drove him away in that big Cadillac with a tear in my eye, I had to laugh. 'Cause Daddy never was the Cadillac kind. He said some things just glitter and shine. Well, just this once, I hope Daddy enjoyed the ride. 'Cause Daddy never was the Cadillac kind. No, my Daddy never was the Cadillac kind.
Time for another great legendary classic. This is Real Country.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch no bandit run. Keep your foot hard on the pedal, Son, never mind them brakes. Let it all hang out, cause we got a run to make. The boys are thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana, and we'll bring it back no matter what it takes. Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch old bandit run. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch old bandit run. Old Smokey's got them ears on, he's hot on your trail, and he ain't gonna rest till you're in jail. So you got to dodge him, you got to duck him, you gotta keep that diesel trucking. Just put the
on 920 WGHQ, 1260 WBNR.
Good morning. You're now listening to Kingston Community Radio, airing on FM 92.5 and AM 920 WGHQ. This programming is brought to you by our listeners and corporate underwriters who are interested in presenting local community radio. The opinions expressed on this program do not represent those of Hamel Broadcasting or Kingston Community Radio. Listeners are encouraged to send in $10 per month to help bring this program to you. Mail your contributions to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. For more information or to donate online, visit our website at mykcr.org. And good morning. And this is Dan Gatis starting us out here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being early birds like us. Tuesday, February 23rd, and 28 degrees right now here in uptown Kingston. And cloudy, wet snow or rain possible today with a high going up to 42. Tonight, partly cloudy, a few flurries possible, about a 25% chance of flurries possible, and a low of 27. Tomorrow, sunshine and clouds, a high of 47. Wednesday, 25% chance of wet snow or rain possible again, and that's a low of 33. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name's Maggie. I'm from Copiague, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
You're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ 920 on your AM dial, 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. 331-9255 is your call-in number to us. And today is a terrific Tuesday. It's terrific nonetheless, all the time, terrific. And that means that we have Nina Postupack and Cameron Rylance in the studio today.
Good morning, Dan.
It is a terrific Tuesday out there.
Good morning.
It is.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's stunning. All
yeah.
that lace work on everything still there. Hope it's there when we sign off.
My house faces, I guess, eastish. So the sun comes up at the 2 o'clock position, and it's just coming up over the house through pine trees and a couple of big maple trees and the snow and the sun with the blue sky and the striated clouds behind it. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a nice orange sunrise along the horizon. Yeah.
Now's the time of year where you can feel the warmth of the sun. Like it's getting stronger again, so it's nice.
Yeah, and the snow on the trees with the sun coming up.
Yep.
So everybody who's listening and drinking their cup of coffee, look out your window because it's absolutely... Oh, you have a minute.
You can make one. It is stunning out there.
Right?
All that lace work on all the trees and everything.
Warming up, according to you just read the weather.
It'll
supposed
fall
to be nice
today.
The next few days. So.
Yeah, it's going to go up to 42 today, so all that snow on the trees now is going to fall off. Yeah.
Which is good. Last week I heard Chief Tinty talking about maple syrup.
Yes.
And Nina, you said the Bruderhof was...
They were tapping trees on Saturday when I was there.
Yeah, I tapped my trees yesterday at work, so... a couple days, save up some sap, and start boiling in a few days. So.
How many trees do you tap?
Only 36.
Only? Yeah, right.
Yeah, only 36.
But,
I know what you mean, though. Some of these makers, they have
thousands.
36,000.
Yeah, thousands. Yeah. But they're making it for my big goal is to make some for myself, and then on March 20th, we're having an alumni event at camp, inviting alumni at the SAP Day, which has become a big thing. People come up from the city for the day.
Oh, that's
Bring
fun.
their kids, and, we have a potluck lunch. It's organized.
Will they still do that with the pandemic and everything? You're still going to do that?
Yeah, we did it last year, but, masked up, and it's 99% outside.
Oh, okay, so that's good.
But this year with, then now that people are, I think, more accustomed to masks and social distancing.
Yes.
I think it's even safer this year,
Right.
A couple of people probably, I know a couple of people are coming. There's two principals in New York City school system, Carl Manalo and Jess Saratovsky. They've both been immunized. They're principals.
Right, yeah. So that'll be nice.
Yeah.
That'll be great. So that's in March that you do this
March
SAP.
20th. We just kicked it back a week, so
Okay.
to accommodate a very active and involved alumni. So it's and he's in the New York City area, so.
Oh, so you changed it for him.
Yeah, he's got kids. Yes. He's he's best friends with the executive director, and I've known him for years. And he could, so we bumped it back a week. We hadn't even started advertising it yet, really. So
that's great. That's really good.
But
yeah, I was going to say, when we came into the studio this morning, I saw Cameron's wrist was a little bandaged up. So I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, I tweaked a little bit. Carving roast pork on Sunday. It was a tough injury. We had several members of the Elks Lodge, replaced all the flooring in the bar, the whole downstairs.
That's what you did. You did it within your membership?
Yes, correct.
Over
the winter,
great.
Buying materials and, Roger Stelz, master craftsman.
Right.
The Crump, Craig, and we lucked out. Craig Crump's son Colton was home from.
Oh yeah.
The long spring break the winter break for college, so.
He came and helped?
Dr. Rosenberg, there's a bunch of, I know I'm forgetting people, and it's terrible, but it's about half a dozen of us.
That's great.
Hours and did it. But anyhow, so Sunday, the Elks State president of the New York State Elks Division, Association, whatever, they, just like Rotary Club, Lions Club, the state officers make a tour every year, and it was his turn to visit Kingston Lodge, so we had a luncheon for him. And I was carving roast pork, delicious, by the way. And
which you cooked?
Yes, I did. I made it all. Mashed potatoes, green beans. We bought dessert. Carving it, my hands cramped up. So this was like 20 people there. So I went to shake them, to ease the cramp, and I felt like a little snap, little pop, in my wrist.
Yeah.
Didn't think much of it, but the next morning I woke up, it was stiff, and then yesterday at work, yesterday morning, I woke up, I was stiff, doing stuff at work, and I kept like I pulled something or, tweaked something, so immobilize it, the heat, a couple days, it'll get better.
That's good. Yeah, it's
I've done
funny.
it
It's
before,
freak accidents. Things that, you never expect.
That pork knife tunnel syndrome.
Yeah, that's right. PKS, right? And we have good knives, too. But, oh, well, you get old. You tweak your knee, you tweak your back, you hurt your elbow. A week later, it feels a little better. It's one of those things.
I know. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad it's not anything serious, so that's a good thing. Yeah. So it's amazing how those things happen. Absolutely. So this Sunday, I went down to Kingston Point Beach, and I was going to take a walk on the rail trail down there, but it's not plowed out or anything. So we got a little. It's plowed out in the beginning, like where the little cottages are, or whatever you call them. Yep. So then we went up to Dietz Stadium. Now I haven't walked Dietz because with all the rail trails now, I hardly ever go up to Dietz Stadium anymore, and it was great. So those of you that
go on the track or the perimeter.
The perimeter, because the track 2 had snow on it. So
they can't plow that.
Yeah, they can't.
Road.
Yeah, and it was clear. It was perfect. So those of you that are looking for a clear place to walk, because a lot of the rail trails you really can't. Yeah, you just have to wait till the snow melts and so forth. It was wonderful. And the sun was shining, and so I'm one to bundle up. Karen, you know that from football games.
Sure.
Right? I wear my hand warmers, my long underwear, the whole thing. So I bundled all up, ready for the walk. And actually, I was warm. Like you were saying, the sun is just starting to get that strong now.
Also pumping away, you're walking.
Yeah. So anyway, it was beautiful on Sunday, and it was invigorating to get out there and walk.
I know. Do you know what's the measure of the perimeter?
You know what? I was walking with my sister, and she said the same thing. And I used to run that, and I want to say it's a quarter mile once around, so 4 times around is a mile.
Huh.
Would that make sense?
It seems a little longer.
Yeah, I think that the track in the field is a quarter mile.
Oh, okay.
That's normal.
Okay.
So you're probably doing.
That's what I was getting confused.
You're probably doing about 2/3.
Half.
Yeah, maybe.
I would say half. It's big.
Okay, so we went around 4 times, so that's almost 2 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was great. It was good, and it's nice to get out and get some fresh air, right? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
Well, spring is coming, so hopefully.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and I see some of the high schools are playing some sports, which is great for the kids. They're getting some exercise and socialization. I was watching one of the high school basketball games, and they play with their masks, which has to be difficult.
Yeah.
I would think very hard.
Breathing and all that, but they're doing it. Yeah,
I'm happy for them, at least.
College, too.
Yes.
Yeah,
because that's not an easy thing. I know myself, even if you're on the rail trail and you have your mask on if you're running, it's difficult. It's really hard,
I don't like having restricted breath.
No. Yeah, so good, great for the
kids. March Madness will be happening soon.
Yes.
It's pretty cool how they're doing it. They're doing it all in Indiana. It's like several
kind of a bubble situation.
Yeah, bubble thing. Sadly, after the first day, half of those kids are going home. But the teams that last through, win their games, they're going to be there for
a while. Yes,
3 weeks or whatever it is. So
yes. So those of you that are listening and don't know what March Madness is, that's the college basketball tournament.
Championship tournament.
Yes, and it starts out with 64 teams, right, Cameron?
Yep.
And
it starts out with the play-in.
Yes, right. That's right.
Smaller division school, less funded division. They can play in. There's play-in tournaments. The Big East. The MAC-10 comp, whatever.
Right.
Which is good because what was it yesterday? The governor allowed arenas in New York to open at 10%.
Yes.
So, at least there will be a few people in the stands because the Big East tournament's always at Madison Square Garden. It's the highlight of college basketball. You play at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
awesome.
Pretty cool.
Not to a full screaming house, but.
Right.
At least there'll be some people there and flash bulbs going off. So.
Yeah, which will be nice. Which will be really good. Yeah. So it's a fun month. I know in our family, we all do the March Madness brackets.
Make a pool? Or
We
a
make a
bracket
pool,
winner?
yeah, we do the brackets, and we get the points, and whoever has the most points, and ESPN has a great app for that. And then,
Even with all the computers and apps and analysis and all that, it's still like a 6 billion to 1
Chance,
odds
I
of winning
know,
that.
I
Like
know.
filling out a perfect bracket.
Yes.
That's why those companies offer, $1 million or $10 million to anyone that fills out a perfect bracket.
yeah, because it's,
Yeah, good
I
luck.
think you have a better chance winning the lottery or something.
Struck by lightning here right now.
Yeah, with a beautiful sunny day.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's very true. So, I'm a little bit of not a little bit, I am a tennis fan.
Yeah, the
Because my
Australian
daughter
Open.
played tennis, and yes, the Australian Open. So, I have to say I'm a big Serena Williams fan. And it takes a lot to keep me up at night till like 11:30, 12 o'clock, right? I'm usually sound asleep. So I watched her match against Osaka. And, I feel really bad for her because that 24th win, she just can't. 11 times she's been in the semifinals or finals to get that 24th. Yeah,
wow.
and hasn't been able to. But, and of course she broke down, those of you that follow tennis, she broke down at her interview afterwards when they asked her, why. And I think the one thing that she did, she owned it. And she said, it was me. It was my unforced errors. It was my level of play. It was my ability to win, and I'm the one that lost the match. But I have to say, she's the highest paid women's athlete in the world.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yes, yeah. And what she's done for women and women in sports, I admire her tremendously. She's overcome a lot of adversity. She's the one that got the actual prize money to be equivalent for men and women. She fought for that, for parity there, and she won it, and she got it, and rightfully so, because I don't know why men were getting more prize money than women, but they were. And
tennis. I
yes.
mean, there's other sports where it is, I hate to say it, sort of justifiable based on the size of the business.
Well, yeah,
I'm
like
referring to soccer.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
men's, the FIFA, the Men's World Cup, that's like a $50 billion business. Women's is like $100 million. It's like an order of magnitude less. So the prize pool's a little bit less.
Yes.
But tennis, it's one player versus one player. Man, woman, whatever.
Right,
They
exactly.
deserve equal play because they're,
Yeah.
like you said, Serena's.
Yeah, she's done a phenomenal job. So, she hasn't said whether she's and her age, 40 years old.
Osaka's won like a couple Grand Slams.
Yes.
Or not Grand Slams, major tournaments, hasn't
Yes,
she?
yes,
So
yes, she has.
Grand
Yes,
Slams when you win all four of them.
right. Yeah,
Majors or whatever.
she's won. Yeah, she
Now,
has. She's young.
Could she does she have the talent to beat? I mean, when you were watching the match, did Serena visibly lose it, or was this like, wow, Osaka's kicking butt?
So I would, a little both. I would say that Serena really was at the top of her game, and if she had played that match at the top of her game, I think she could have beat Osaka. But Osaka, I think, is probably the up and coming Serena. She has the potential. She hits with power just like Serena does. She seems like when she gets on the court, I think my daughter put it well, it's like nothing bothers her. Where even Serena, as seasoned and experienced as she is, you could tell at times things get in her head. And like she said, she loves playing with
24.
Yeah.
24 is in her head. And,
Yeah.
She's pushing it,
And she said she loves playing in an empty stadium because there's no distraction, she said. And then when the fans come back again, you have that distraction of the fans. Now, on her match against Osaka, the fans really tried to get her back up and into the match. But I think you're going to see a lot of Osaka. I think you're going to see a lot of her in the upcoming years.
She's, another American.
Yes.
Well,
American. She plays. She's been here since she was like 2 years old.
Yeah.
Trained in Florida, everything. But she's Japanese, and she plays under the Japanese flag.
Does she?
She doesn't play in an American.
Oh, I didn't know
No,
that.
and Jen Brady, who played her in the final of this Australian Open, is an American. So and she's another very, very good player. It's so hard with all these tennis matches because they are so opposite time-wise.
Yeah, well,
so like 3 in the morning is like the highlight. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it makes it difficult at times.
Djokovic won the men's, right?
Djokovic won. Yeah. Nadal, individual that beat Nadal played Djokovic in the finals. Yeah, and Djokovic quit.
Also, I mean, Serena is pushing near the end of her career. Federer is pretty much, he doesn't really play high level anymore. Nadal's getting up there.
Yeah. So Federer and Nadal hold the record for men.
A new
Yeah, I don't know what upcoming men. Yeah, men. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
But there's not that I'm aware of any American men that are up and coming that I see right now. So, but anyway, it was a good
Yankees
tournament.
Baseball, front page of the sports.
Yes.
Darren Cole will probably be our opening day starter, which is always good. Best pitcher in the American League.
Yeah,
I'll take
absolutely.
that. Hopefully he stays healthy.
Yeah, this is a little low, right, in sports now?
Yeah,
a little bit, unless you're a hockey fan.
Yeah.
My son Drew loves the Islanders. He's a big Islander
that's
fan.
cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I don't really follow hockey. I didn't ever play hockey. I mean, we played in the backyard, the local ponds as kids, but I never played organized hockey or anything, and
Right.
it wasn't big around here. I mean,
No.
growing up, like Mike Yanta and Pat Hoy were like the only. Danny Cole, I think there's only a few people that like played
Hockey.
Because Mike played on like Spack and Kill or something.
Okay.
He'd like after school, he'd take the bus or whatever, go play on another high school team.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Everywhere. But yeah, it just wasn't big around here.
No,
and
it wasn't.
lacrosse too. Growing up, I never even heard of lacrosse. Till Mike Finnegan came home from freshman year at college, Richmond, with the
lacrosse stick.
They'll say, "Oh, it's lacrosse. Yeah, it's a cool game," And then this is the
Now it's lacrosse is big. It's really big.
Soccer was bare. I don't even when I was in high school. I don't even think soccer was a varsity sport yet. It might have been still like.
Yeah, and when my kids
club,
were growing up, soccer was huge, right? ASO and traveling soccer teams, and it's continued to this day.
Oh yeah, soccer's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't wasn't that big when. I guess the 90s probably was when it started to grow.
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely right.
80s,
Yeah, 90s. Yeah. Yeah.
Baseball, football, basketball.
That was it. Yeah, same thing when I was growing up. So how was your birthday?
Oh, it was
have
very
a good
nice.
birthday?
Had a lovely celebration. We celebrated on Friday. Well, Thursday, my actual birthday, went to my mom's house. She made.
Did she make you I was going to say special
my
dinner?
special angel food cake with mocha icing. And I was 55. I probably had that 49 times.
Well, that's great. That's a
missed it
nice
couple
tradition.
times. And the first 5 were when I was probably too little. And then we went to happy hour at the Elks Lodge. It was a dozen of us or whatever. And my pal Amanda Metakekia, ordered some pizza. And,
Oh, nice. That was on Friday night?
Yep. Called a couple people. Hey, we're going to celebrate Cameron's birthday. And
Good.
some people, it was nice. It was a great time. A lot of fun. I didn't drive.
Okay, that's good.
I
That's
don't
a good
remember
thing.
getting home, but I woke up the next morning and my car was in the driveway. I'm like,
So
that's a good thing.
what is your beverage of choice?
On Friday,
a little bit of everything.
Beer, I mean, of course, beer. Everybody drinks beer.
Beer, yes.
I drink crappy American beer.
Well, that's
I am
good.
not
That's
a craft
great.
Beer fan. Blech.
Oh, you're not.
Blech. Hops and IPAs taste like something's gone wrong in your intestinal system. But Jägermeister and Jameson, there's a lot of that flowing.
A lot of, yeah.
We should have bought stock in Jameson Brewery. or
Yeah,
distillery.
Jameson, yeah. Yes.
It was fun. It's good.
Hey, it's 55
I had
only
a
once.
DD,
You had to
I
stop.
had a
Yeah.
DD, and nothing was wrong. So.
There you go. That's absolutely perfect. That's great. So you had a good birthday weekend.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And what did your mom make you for dinner?
Oh, it was delicious. It was a recipe. Actually, my dad made it, or contributed mostly. Yeah, but it was a recipe they got out of the New York Times. It was a roasted chicken, but it was sectioned quarter, pieces. It wasn't like the whole bird.
Right.
With lemons, capers, potatoes, onions, and
Ooh.
roast it. Like roast it, or maybe even broil it so it gets crispy on top.
Oh,
And
wow.
lemons and capers and butter.
Yeah, what a great.
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
On fish, on chicken, on vegetables. It's so good. And it was just delicious. Like the skin was awesome. It was really good. Super simple, like 6 recipes. Chicken, onions, butter, potatoes, salt, pepper. capers, whatever.
Sometimes it's just the
It was
ingredients.
so delicious.
Yes, yep.
So delicious. And I think we had salad and some other vegetables. It was delicious. My mom's a great cook. So
And
my
your
dad's
dad,
becoming a cook.
yeah, that's great.
Well,
That's
my
really good.
my interest in cooking started with my mom, and she literally, taught us how to cook. We're sitting around bored, like, what's for dinner? Well, I don't know. Get over here and help me, and we'll have that
that's
dinner be that
great.
much quicker. Okay.
Oh,
there's
that's
only
great, though.
13 channels on back then. And
I
we
know,
didn't have
yeah,
Nintendo
you're
and
right.
video games, so rather than
in the
sitting there
day.
drumming your fingers, jabbing her nuts, you'd be like, all right, come here. This is how you peel a potato. This is how you dice an onion.
Yeah.
And things like that. And,
No.
I think the best advice was never put too much of any one thing in. You can always add more. You can't take out salt or tarragon. Like, you can kill something with tarragon.
Yes.
Put a little bit in, cook, taste it. Don't be afraid to taste it while you're cooking it.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
Never, keep things in balance. Sweet and sour, salty, sweet, sugar, acid, whatever. And, never add too much of one thing because you can't take it out. So.
Yeah, no, I did a rub this weekend for pork tenderloin,
Oh.
and so I
You
used
roast pork this weekend?
yeah, it was delicious, and I used smoked paprika as opposed to just
yeah.
oh my gosh, what a difference
That's the
that made
only
in the rub.
paprika.
Oh
Yeah. Totally.
yeah,
That's like the Ukrainian, smoked paprika is what.
yeah, I was
And like with goulash.
yeah, right, yeah,
Oh, smoked paprika is so good.
yeah.
What's really good too is a marinade for chicken, smoked paprika, oil, a little lemon, overnight.
Oh, that's great to know.
It's really good.
Yeah, because I love to marinate
And
in
if you-
olive oil and lemon
And if you
juice.
throw oregano in there, like the paprika, oregano, olive oil, and lemon, that's very Mediterranean.
Oh, that's a good, yes, that's a great idea.
Like
That would even
boneless
be good on
thighs like
shrimp or
that.
anything, yeah.
Boneless thighs like that are perfect.
Yeah.
But you don't want to cook it too hot. Like if you're gonna do it, tell Dwayne you don't want because you don't want to burn because there's gonna be residual paprika on it. So you don't want to cook it real hot, almost cook it
Right.
slow. And with boneless thighs, those are easy to cook.
Yeah, they are. They're nice,
Can't even
yeah.
overcook them,
And they're
are they?
so, moist
Tastes
and
better,
juicy, yeah.
They're good muscles, It's-
Yeah, right, that's right. Yeah, so anyway, talking about the seasonings, it really does make a difference in spices, and some of them are very strong, and you have to be very careful when you're cooking with them.
And then things like goulash, Hungarian goulash, or chili. I make good chili. People talk about it. People request me to make it. I won a trophy in 2000, whatever. But people are like, oh, what's your secret ingredient? It's like, no secret ingredient. Chili powder and cumin. You have to add a lot. Because I guess you say the broth should be thick from the spices, from the chili.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, if you're making a batch of chili for your family, you're pretty much adding a whole thing of chili powder.
Oh.
Like you read Betty Crocker, put a tablespoon of chili powder. It's like, what? Take the shaker top off and put half.
And pour that chili
Not
powder
hot,
in.
Not the hot.
No,
Just regular
yeah, just regular chili powder.
Otherwise, it'd be too spicy.
Right.
Don't mix up the cayenne and the chili powder. And same with paprika. Like the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of paprika. No. It's not going to taste. 2 handfuls maybe, because that's what makes goulash. That makes a thick sauce and the gravy. With the
Right.
That's it. You had a ridiculous amount. What would seem like a ridiculous amount, but then after you make it and taste it, you're like, oh wow, this is what. Now it tastes like chili, not ground beef and some bean. He has that.
So that's
chili.
your secret.
That's the secret. There you go.
All right, we'll have to try that.
Actually, my real secret is a little bit of yellow mustard.
Oh yeah, mustard's
A little
always.
bit of yellow. It gives you a little tang, a little tart.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Mustard is always a good addition in certain dishes. Yeah, absolutely.
And coleslaw, powdered, dry mustard.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Delish.
I use dry mustard.
I
Yep.
think it makes all the difference in coleslaw. 'Cause I love coleslaw.
Oh, I do too. I never tried dry mustard in coleslaw.
Yeah, different
Yeah.
vinaigrette.
Yeah.
Clear slaws. The traditional with mayo and it's so versatile. I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
You do teriyaki coleslaw and
Oh yeah, you could.
Asian inspired and it's cool.
Yeah.
It's so versatile. Delicious.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it's
I never thought of that.
0 carbs unless you add in sugar or whatever, but
Right.
shredded cabbage fiber.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Roughage, it's and cabbage is one of those. What is it? The cruciferous vegetable, like broccoli and kale. It has folic acid and iron. It's one of those.
Yeah, it's a really good. It's a good. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Eat more kale. Same thing. Eat more cabbage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So now we have on today, if all our guests arrive into the studio or call in, we have Dr. Roberts from the college coming up at 7:30. At 8, we have Kingston Library, who always has exciting things that are going on there. God bless them. And then at 8:30, we have Paul Hakim.
Yeah.
So we have a full guest schedule today, right, Cameron?
Yeah, I'm glad Paul's coming in because I want to comment.
Oh, on the lawsuit?
Yeah, that frivolous lawsuit that Neil Bender. And not, they haven't even lifted a hammer in any of those buildings. If you know, they're still sitting there.
They are.
Zombie properties, and he's worried about real development, and he's not doing anything. So
yeah, and we could talk about maybe when Paul comes in. Did you see Hayes Clement and Harris Safier sold a house in the city of Kingston, Courts Mansion, $2.5 million, and it's the most that was ever been paid for a house in the city of Kingston. $2.5 million.
Yeah. There's not a lot of structures that are big enough,
Yeah, right. That's a beautiful
that's an incredible
home. Yeah.
piece of property. I
Yeah.
wonder what their commission was. Not too shabby.
No, I would think that would be a decent
Probably
commission.
made more than my annual salary in one sale.
Yeah,
but
so we'll see.
whoever
We'll talk
bought
maybe a bit
it,
about the real.
God bless the people who bought it, but with a house and property like that, the upkeep, the maintenance, the roof, well, you need a new roof. Well, that's going to cost you $100,000.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wow, absolutely.
Just heating that place.
Yeah. No.
So, big houses, big expenses.
So maybe we'll talk a little bit about the real estate market here in Kingston in the city when Paul comes at 8:30.
150,000.
Is the commission? Thank you, Dan.
If that's the 6%.
If there, yeah.
That's the 6%.
Well, he's got to split it. The associate broker.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Sometimes you.
And they own the
split 3 and 3 or whatever.
Yeah. If they're the listing agent. All right, Dan. We're gonna give it to you.
Thank you, Nina, and thank you, Cam. And now it's 7:30, and you're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, or you're watching online at mykcr.org. Tuesday, February 23rd, and 29 degrees now here in uptown Kingston. Weather and forecast for Kingston and the surrounding areas for the next 3 days. Cloudy with some wet snow or rain possible today, a high of 42. Tonight, partly cloudy, a few flurries possible, a low down to 27. Tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds, high of 47. Wednesday night, 25% chance of some wet rain or snow, possible, a low of 33. And Thursday, mainly sunny day, a high of 39. Thursday night, mostly clear, low down to 19. We'll be right back.
Listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
3 months ago, there weren't enough masks. We were desperately sourcing from all over the world. People were making face coverings from scarves and bits of fabric. Now there are plenty of masks, but some people don't want to wear them. Come on, mask up, America.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Coping 19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Feeling increasingly lonely right now? You're not alone. Try joining a virtual book club or scheduling an online coffee break with coworkers to connect.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
Hi, I'm Paula Strang, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
You're here with us at KCR Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. And it's Tuesday, February 23rd, 29 degrees here in uptown Kingston. Call-in number is 331-9255. Anytime you want to chime in, be a part of the show, be a part of the discussion, 331-9255 is your number. This portion of Kingston Community Radio is being brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston, their main office. And let's get back to the on-air studio with Nina and Cam. Welcome back.
All right, and we are back.
Yes.
And hopefully Dr. Roberts will be phoning in, or someone from the school will be phoning in. We'll see.
Yes, and we'll see what's going on at the community college. I did read an article this week that they said nationwide that enrollment's down like 25 to 30% at all community colleges. Yeah, which I would, Cameron, in my mind, I would have thought the enrollment would have been steadily increasing because people were staying home as opposed to traveling to campuses and to colleges.
So virtual. My niece is home from Plattsburgh. She's all virtual. I think she's a freshman this year. I think her first semester she had a lab, so she had to be at school 1 day a week, like 1 hour a week. But now she's all remote, and she's like on the Plattsburgh campus. Nothing's open. So she came home, and she's working. She's got her job back at Benny's Pizza, waiting tables, and she's putting money in the bank.
Well, yeah, maybe that's the rationale behind it, is that you're not living on campus, so you're not spending the money that you would if you're going to, wherever.
Well,
right?
Well, she's still paying room and board. She's not on campus.
Oh, she still has to pay room and board.
Oh, yeah. That's the rub, and that's why it surprises me that, like Jacob Kirshner, going to
California,
UC Berkeley,
right?
whatever. He has to be on campus. California, they couldn't make an exception for a kid from New York, but no, that's how. Okay. And to me, that's why I'm shocked that community college enrollment isn't through the roof.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I know John Diacovo's daughter did that. She did her freshman year at Binghamton or whatever. She deferred her start date until now, and she went to SUNY. She picked up an English class or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
But like I said, I'm surprised that didn't fuel a boom, saving the money.
Right.
Because you probably could have taken a leave, or there's a mechanism to, outstanding circumstances. You just can't,
Yeah, no, I was really shocked.
Maybe Dr. Roberts can have shed some light on that.
Yeah, no.
But did you see? I heard about this on the radio, but I saw the photo in the paper today. That lucky hang glider that got caught in a tree.
Oh, yes.
In Cragsmore. Having survived an ultralight plane crash and breaking my leg and smashing my skull, the guy's pretty lucky.
Very lucky.
He dangled from the tree for an hour and got hauled out of there.
Yeah. Did he say the wind took him?
Well, I'm kind of surprised. I know hang gliders pretty much rely on thermals, which are rising columns of air from the sun.
Okay.
I didn't think they really occurred in the winter, but apparently they do. But the worst part is, thank God the guy's okay, but I don't know how he got his, $2,000 hang glider
out of that tree. I know.
I don't think the fire department's really going to do much because that's not really, this is your problem, buddy. We have a caller. Good morning, Dr. Roberts. Is that you?
That is me. How are you, Cameron?
We are
Good morning. How are you?
How are you?
Good. How is this semester shaping up?
Well, we started on January 25th, and we started mostly online, and on February 1st, we brought about 19% of our students back on.
19? 19%? You said 19?
Yeah, 19%.
Okay.
Not on a daily basis, but, rotating throughout the week. And it's going pretty smoothly. We've been required by SUNY system to test anyone who comes on campus once a week. So we've had to upscale that somewhat. So that's been a challenge, but everyone's cooperating, which is nice.
Now, is that like individual testing, or because you had that you were doing like pool testing or whatever you're calling it, or that method?
Yeah. We're still doing the pooling, which is working pretty well. So it's interesting on the whole process how it works, but it's relatively quickly, and the testing is so easy. It's not the nasal, which you see on TV, which looks pretty.
It's not
intrusive.
What's it?
Not at all.
It's a mouth.
It's a mouth and gum. You register with your phone. You insert the number. I know because I do it every week too. So you walk in the back room and, you're isolated, but you unscrew a container and it has like a Q-tip on it, and you swab each side of your cheek 10 times, then your gum 10 times. And you're doing it yourself.
You're doing it yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you turn it over, put it into a saline solution of some sort, small vial, shake it up, and they write your name on it, and they put it into one of the 12 slots. It's working out pretty well.
Now, do you know, I don't know, I probably maybe you can't answer this, but when they do, are they like under a microscope, do they look for the virus or something? How do they determine a positive or negative reading? Do you know? If you don't know, say, I have no idea.
I can guess, but no, I don't exactly. I'm assuming that they take each one of those vials and put it into some kind of mass container. And I don't know if it's a microscope or that's
machine. I mean, yeah,
that's above my ability.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt a human is eyeballing it. I'm sure a machine is assaying it, but I'm just wondering, like, if they look for the virus or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, I don't either.
I
don't know.
digress. So.
I don't know.
Now, Doctor, the New York State just allowed for partial reopening of arenas and sports venues. Does that affect you or your spring sports stuff or anything?
Well, right now we're planning on baseball in the spring, outdoors.
Yeah.
They can do practicing, in the gym and stay pretty much. It's a sport I feel comfortable with that I think we're going to be fine with. But we'll bring back those students 1st of March, and they'll start practicing in our gymnasium. And as soon as they get outside, they'll be outside. And then we'll wait to see who would be able to compete against them.
Yeah,
we're bringing them back to practice. We haven't scheduled the games yet, but we're anticipating that'll happen now.
Now, do you know if because that would be whatever section or the league you play in? Are other schools? Is there going to be a full slate of games, or is it going to be a truncated season? Do you know, or is it too early to tell?
Well, what we did is early December, the presidents that were involved in our conference got together and laid out a plan, and the plan was sequenced that we watched the numbers and determined based on each individual school. And we're at the point that we're all following the schedule pretty well. In March was to bring them back. Mid-March, we'll look at the numbers and then start. So I guess your answer is, it's going to be a truncated. It's not going to be a standard season. But I think,
it's better than not having any sports.
Yeah. And the baseball team, probably a couple dozen people. It's not, it can't be that big of a team, so.
No, the roster is not that big.
Yeah.
We probably have 20 kids on the roster.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Roberts, we were talking before you came on. Cameron and I were saying that we were surprised that the enrollment in community colleges throughout the country was down because of the pandemic, and we thought that the reverse would be true. And what do they attribute that to as far as the decrease in enrollment during the pandemic? Why has that occurred?
I actually read an interesting article on that yesterday, and we're fitting into the pattern. Our students basically the percentage we lost are those moms and dads who are doing double duty at home. They're working from home, they're teaching their children at home, and it's just adding another element to that is just beyond what they can do, as opposed to a younger student who is they haven't lost that much enrollment in the 4 years.
Oh,
okay.
That the 4-year students generally are a little more affluent, and they can get the technology and they can make accommodations that our students really haven't got the resources to handle.
So it's sort of the continuing ed or returning, older students that have
the adult students who especially the single parent. There's and I speak to quite a few of them too. We do surveys of our students every other week. We do a written survey, and then we have our call center. We'll call and ask and try to discern what's going on with them. We need to know those patterns so we can address them in the fall. So, we pretty much, after looking at the data from the state and the national levels, we fit right into the criteria. Community college students are different. We probably have 60% who don't fall into there, and we have those students not on campus, but they're participating. And then you look at the programs like nursing and vet tech. These are high demand programs, which there's still a demand, and there's still waiting lists for these programs. But your general ed students and some of your other transfer programs have just kind of shrunk. Sadly, they shrunk.
Now, this is probably my ignorance, but other than, I guess nursing probably isn't considered a vocational tech, but is there any, for lack of a better word that I know of, like vocational work through the community college, on a continuing ed level, like, for HVAC techs and that type of thing? Is it?
We've been working closer and closer with BOCES, because between BOCES and the programs we do in continuing ed, we have a full variety. We have AC, we have plumbing, and the new one is one that's really taken off is the green collar careers, and we've had 70% increase in that program. Although that doesn't show up in your regular numbers because it's credit free, and usually the tuition doesn't count on your enrollment. So. We've seen an uptick there, but, thank goodness our county executive has put a lot of resources behind it. Right. And, just him being the champion of green jobs is going to mean a lot to us. So we're seeing great progress there. And, those are vocational programs.
Yeah, but there's such a demand for that. And, you said BOCES. That's, unfortunately for students, school-age people. People interested in a midlife, career change or upgrading their skills, there doesn't seem to be a lot of options for that.
Well, BOCES isn't just for the high schools. BOCES runs an evening program that works, hand in hand with us. It has we send out every semester we send out a pretty detailed list of all the programs that we work hand in hand with. They used to. It was almost like, I think 5 years ago, it was like a competitor. So we've come together over the last 4 or 5 years and said, there's no sense. We need to make a seamless pipeline from your programs to ours.
Yeah.
Augment what you do, and you augment us. And, for example, we've taken over a couple of the programs. BOCES used to run an evening program, LPN, and surgical technology. Now we run those at the Kingston.
Yeah, so that's great.
And BOCES now is on our campus. We have the P-Tech program with about 100 kids who are taking both college credit and high school credit, but it's, they're in career-oriented programs, for example, like networking. And we're adding a new track. Actually, this year will be different. We're going to add teaching because it's now become a high-demand area, which is, there's a shortage.
Yeah.
And it's an extremely well-paying career.
Yeah. You say that, teaching, the Kingston School District, several years ago closed, a junior high and a couple elementary schools due to years of shrinking enrollment.
Right.
Within the last 2 years, that has completely turned around. Junior high, elementary schools are adding classes,
in our area.
Part of that's the
growth
of the growth in our area of family, family age, people moving here to have families and whatever. That means a few years down the road, that could be, signal growth potential for the community college. Do you guys monitor?
Absolutely. We spend a great deal of time looking at, we can actually project out 12 years because it goes right down to kindergarten.
Sure.
We can see what the total population of the county is through one of those grades, and we can see the cycle.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, if I can, one positive thing, and there's a couple, technology and other things that the pandemic has brought us. It's certainly a growth to our county.
Yes.
It's tremendous, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like in the fall. As right now we're just about done wrapping up our spring semester. We actually have a series of courses that'll start March 1st. So anyone out there needs a class, we still have some available.
Yeah.
So But anyway, but the thing we're really focusing on is on how we're going to look when we come back in the fall.
Next fall.
It's still, it's a lot of unknowns, but
Yeah. It is. It's difficult because you don't know at this point, will you be able to bring, everyone back onto campus? Will you still be, and you probably will be, partly remote and on campus for the fall? I don't know. What are they projecting right now? That's what I would say it to be, but you probably have a really good handle on that.
Well, our guess right now, to be conservative, is to have 50% of all our classes will be back on campus.
Yeah.
We still will probably eliminate some of the asynchronous classes and the synchronous, but the high flex seems to be a pretty good option, which allows students, if they have 30 in a class, one day they meet, 15 come, the next time they meet, the other 15 come. But I'm a little more optimistic than that. I think once we get past July, if everyone can have that vaccine like we've heard, I think we can do much more. So keeping my fingers crossed and watching it closely.
Oh, you're not alone.
Yeah. It's difficult to really say what will happen come the fall.
Yep.
Very difficult. I saw something just recently, I think it was Dr. Fauci or something on the news, where they are projecting now that we'll be wearing masks, and I do believe it's right into 2022 at this point. So, I think it all depends on the vaccine and how quickly it rolls out and it gets to everyone. So I think that's really a key component at this point. But we'll wait and see, that's for sure. So are we this year with the graduation? I know last year graduation was so different, and you actually delivered the diplomas to everyone, which was I thought a pretty cool thing. And so how are you seeing that rolling out this year, Doctor?
We're going to have 3 different types of graduation all at the same time. We're going to have a drive-through, which will set up the campus on students can line up in their car with their family, and we'll have a stage set up, but they can drive by, and we'll announce their name on a speaker, and I'll hand their diploma through the window.
That's
and
great.
then
That is great.
If they choose not to, I'm going to go back to the home delivery.
Yeah.
So we're making a list now, and we're seeing, it'll be a little more organized because we can anticipate it. So, it's always a good time of year, and making it different and unique. I think it's going to be. It's exciting, and it's making everyone on campus feel like, we're turning the corner on this.
Yeah. Well, I saw last year, we were even maybe mentioned, I forget where it was, did it on a chairlift. The dignitaries stood on top of the mountain, and the kids rode up a chairlift, 10 feet apart,
That's
whatever.
unique.
And when they went through, they shook their hand and handed the diploma. So,
Dr. Roberts, do you see a possibility of everyone decorating their cars and SUNY flags?
Make a parade.
Yeah.
You got a contest.
Yeah, that would be fabulous.
Most
Just
school
decorate
spirit.
the cars,
Yeah. That's cool.
And
we're actually some things are really different because our marketing department, and there's so many things we didn't spend money on because the students weren't there. So we have some funds that we have the ability to decorate campus. And what we have is we're going to put flags on all the poles coming up to the campus and on campus.
That'd be nice.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
We're going to get photos of students, and they'll be on the flag. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
That's great. You go. You got to think outside the box. You got to commemorate.
Be creative, right?
But like you said, you've seen graduations where families are there, and the graduate is the first one of their in history of that family, and the pride and the love. You got to be able to figure out a way to keep that going, and for families to share, and so I like the way you're thinking.
It's so unique when you at graduation we usually ask how many are single moms or dads, how many have worked jobs while you've been in school, how many times we have them stand up, how many have first graduate in your family. It's just it brings tears to your eyes. It's what we're all about at a community college. That's
the
our,
encouragement and the self-esteem, and it's so much. It's so important. So
yeah,
It is.
really does
It
change
absolutely
the whole community.
yeah. Is there any news or upcoming events for the foundation or anything like that?
Well, a couple things. Well, one is I want to thank our nursing students because they're at Vassar and they're actually giving the vaccine.
Wow!
So we have
great.
20 students out there on a every other day basis, and they're giving thousands of shots at this point. So it's nice to see our nursing students work helping us test. They're at the hospitals getting the vaccines, so it's good, and they're getting clinical experience.
Yeah, real world. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always been that always makes me feel good when we can be a part of the community.
But any events upcoming for the foundation or?
Foundation.
Yeah.
We're planning for our gala, and right now we're planning for a regular gala. It will be in October. I don't have the date in front of me, but it's mid-October, and we're at the point that there'll be a meeting this week, and we're choosing our honorees.
Wow.
So I can't tell you yet who they are, but
Right.
it's going to be fun. We're looking forward to that.
So you're hoping to do an in-person event?
Yeah, we're planning for full in-person, October. If we have to change it, we certainly will. But last year's was so successful. It was amazing. When it comes to just your, a fundraising event, it was real successful. But having an evening together would be, oh my gosh, it'd be so nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to even imagine right now. I agree with you 100%.
What's that like,
Yeah, no, for sure. But it is true, the virtual fundraiser was tremendous, and you raised so much money. So it is amazing sometimes when you do things and you think, oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to get together in a room and so forth, and how are we ever going to do fundraising? It's really nice to see that people are really committed to the cause and not committed to the event itself, which really speaks volumes.
It was amazing. When we first started talking about a virtual, they had set a goal of $50,000 for the total raised, and we came in at $106,000, which blew everybody away.
Yeah.
That was a record. It was the highest we've ever raised. But that just shows you what the community feels about us. They just really care, and all the dollars go back to the students, which is really what it's all about.
Yeah.
And again, we're giving away almost $500,000 in scholarships over the next coming year.
That's incredible.
Which means a lot
It is.
It's such a big.
That's a huge
staggering
number.
The community, it doesn't cost you anything. Literally, if somebody out there is interested and they think finances, education it's not with us. You're going to get a high level of extremely qualified instruction. 15 in a class. You're going to get to know your instructors, and you can spend 2 years and walk away with a great experience, 2 years of college, and no debt.
Yeah, which is true in this day and age.
Yeah,
staggering.
absolutely.
The education debt is going to be a major factor moving forward in our economy in the next 20 years. Huge.
I was astounded to find out as many students who went off to the 4-year school chose to do that instead of just staying home for a semester and doing what they could. They're doing the same thing.
Yeah,
they're
same
in a
class.
Dorm, locked in a dorm, taking classes, as opposed to staying home in their bedroom and taking it from us at 1/8 the cost.
Yeah, it's kids are graduating college, 21, 22 years old with $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 in debt.
Yes.
They don't even own a car, and you got $100,000 in debt. It's just
And no job.
yeah.
On top of it. So, yeah, absolutely.
It takes them years to get out of that debt.
Oh, yes.
They could have had, literally, that's halfway to buy a house.
Yeah.
That's what they could have.
Oh, absolutely. Just the interest, the debt service on that is will make your jaw drop, But,
yep. Well, I'm kind of hoping they give some kind of relief to student loan debt. I know that the Biden administration is talking about some kind of relief.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know so many, hardworking students out there that would mean a lot to.
Yes, absolutely.
Although there's a lot of people have different feelings on it.
Yeah.
But we have about a minute left. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, I talked over you. What was that last comment you made, Doctor?
I said, especially me, who paid for my children's education on money I saved.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, you're in the same boat, Nina, I'm sure. But yeah, we got about a minute left, and so I just want to thank you so much, and keep up the good work, and certainly, right, SUNYUlster.org.
Summer registration is open, by the way.
For summer and fall?
Summer. We still have a short, it's about a week for our last session for the spring, but we opened summer registration last week. So anyone's interested in, getting a few classes, knocking off, sign up. Get out there and do that.
Yeah, don't waste time.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And, great. Well, I'm sure you're preparing for the fall, and it's going to be a short month, so we'll see you. We'll hopefully see you one of these days. But if not, please call in next month. And
I will speak to you in March.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck until then, and thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Yes, and be well and safe. Thank you.
We'll
All right.
talk to you soon.
There we go.
Bye.
All right, Dan, that brings it. So hopefully we'll have some birthdays at 8 o'clock when we get back. I haven't even looked, so I know there were none yesterday.
I
so.
think there was.
All right, good. So take it away, and we'll see you back here for the birthdays.
Thank you, Nina, and thank you, Cam, and a very special thanks to Dr. Alan Roberts, SUNY Ulster. And many thanks to you for listening in, and it is Tuesday, February 23rd. 30 degrees now here in Uptown Kingston. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, main office, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston. And Mid-Hudson Valley weather and forecast, cloudy, a little bit of wet snow or rain possible today, a high of 42. Tonight, partly cloudy, a few flurries possible overnight, low of 27. Tomorrow, sunshine and clouds, and a high of 47. Wednesday night, 25% chance of some of that wet snow or rain possible, a low of 33. Wednesday night. Thursday, mainly sunny, and that's a mainly sunny day, Thursday. High of 39. Thursday night, mostly clear, and a low of 19. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, my name is George Post from Postupack, New York, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you. Where else can you speak to your local representatives on the air and have your questions answered? So thank you, and support KCR.
And we're back. You're listening to WGHQ, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, the home of Kingston Community Radio. Yeah, and you might be watching online at mykcr.org. Tuesday, February 23rd, and 30 degrees here in Uptown Kingston. This upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by the Kingston Lions Club, serving the Kingston-Ulster County area since 1941. Call them 901-9067, 845-901-9067. Let's get back to the on-air studio with our new guests, again, Cameron and Nina. Welcome back.
All right, we are back.
Yes,
and
we
do
are.
have a birthday. a birthday.
Yes.
So, Nina, why don't you take the honor?
Listen, I know this person, so this is even more special. So, a very happy birthday to Kathleen Esposito. Love from family and friends. And, of course, Olivia says, happy birthday, Nanny. I love you.
Aww.
So, who gets the cow pie?
Well, congratulations.
Kathy Esposito. So, happy birthday, Kathy. Hope you have a wonderful day.
There you go. The operatic moo.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, go down to Boyce Brother Dairy, 62 O'Neill Street. Tell them that KCR sent you and claim your complimentary cow pie. And then also load up on your other dairy needs. So, butter, milk, sour cream, cottage cheese. Boyce Brothers, great organization.
Yes.
So support them. So, we are joined, as we are this Tuesday every month, by Margie and Ursela, the director and president of the board of trustees of our own Kingston Area Library. So welcome,
Good morning.
ladies.
Thank you.
Morning.
How is everything?
Yeah.
Things are good. Things are good.
Everything's okay at the library?
Yeah.
Winter? So, you got enough room to put all the snow?
Just barely. I hear it's going to be a little bit warmer this week.
Yes,
maybe
it is.
it'll melt and we'll make a little more room.
Yes.
Yeah. Yesterday's 3 inches surprised me a little bit.
At least it looks nice, though. It's still in a tree.
It does. It brightens things up. It's nice.
All the stuff you already had.
Yeah. It covers up the dog do. Well, that's true.
Yeah. But we have good staff and good plow folks, so we have room. We have room in the parking lot for people to keep coming in. So.
Good. And we're not running as many in-house programs. They're Zoom programs, so the parking lot is a little less full part of the time.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Now, I saw recently, or yesterday, that the state has eased up some of their restrictions. Does any, numbers, I should say, the gathering numbers. Does that affect you in any way? Will you be inching your capacity upwards at all?
Well, honestly, Kingston Library itself is a pretty good-sized, well-ventilated building.
It is,
and
yes.
I'm not really, restricting too much because there's plenty of room for the people that want to come in.
So that 25% occupancy hasn't bothered you really?
No,
hasn't
it really
hurt your
hasn't.
ability?
No, what we're doing is we're asking people to limit their time in the building. So we're asking people to stay for an hour or less, and what that does is it kind of encourages turnover. So as people, it sort of allows more people opportunities to come in with lower capacity.
Read it at home. Check it out and go. Read it at home. Don't sit here reading it, right?
Well, we're all being encouraged to limit our time indoors with people who are not part of our own household.
Right.
So, we're sort of.
And we have those nice big windows that open, and periodically they get opened and air us out.
Even in the winter, we bring
Yeah,
in the
that's
fresh
important.
air.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But but you mentioned the restrictions and state level and one of the things we wanted to talk about this week is library advocacy. Every type of organizations from public schools to probably businesses and agricultural workers advocate at the state level, and libraries do too. A lot of decisions that are made by our state elected officials affect what we do and how we provide services. So every year, the libraries in New York, from top to bottom and east to west, make appointments with our elected officials, and we talk to them about the services that we're providing, how the decisions they make budgetarily and policy-wise affect what we do, and we have a conversation to say, this is what we need you to know as you're making these decisions. So please keep this in mind when you're deciding on budgets and creating policy and that sort of thing, so that we can provide the best services to our communities. And what I've put in front of you is the information that was created this year. All the libraries throughout the state sort of talk to each other and decide what priorities are going to happen, what we need, and how we want to move forward. And then we share that with our legislators.
Legislature, state, federal, county, state?
In this particular case, it's our state legislators. We're talking to the folks in Albany.
Now this is like a couple questions. Just from growing up, my dad was involved in the Chamber of Commerce, and there was the various lobbying days.
Yes,
Is this a similar type thing? That
Yes.
is there
Exactly.
an
Yep.
organized time that you guys are making appointments to go see?
In the past, it's been a particular day, and we get on buses and cars and we go. This year, they're doing it virtually. So that's in one of the ways that people who can't go to Albany or who aren't interested in going out when things are still a little slippery can participate is by emailing and calling their state legislators and telling them that they are library advocates and that they should look at what the libraries need. Unfortunately, when economic times are tough, one of the first things that happen is they cut state aid to libraries. Unfortunately, that coincides to when our users go up. People have less disposable income to go out and buy that bestseller. They're going to come in and borrow it.
Right.
Or picture books for their kids or the DVD. So
Or the technology and Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So our usage goes up at the same time they want to cut our funding, and our funding has not gone up in several years.
I will say, though, that Kevin Cahill, who is our local assembly person, and he has been over the decades incredibly supportive of the libraries in his district. So often our conversations with Assemblyman Cahill are, thank you.
Right.
Thank you for supporting us how you do. This is what we need you to use your voice for this year. We know you want to support us, so please take this message to your colleagues and let them know what our priorities are this year. And this year also we'll be talking to Senator Hinchey, in her first year in office. And no one can know everything. So part of our conversation with Senator Hinchey will be, a more full picture of what the libraries in her district are doing.
Yes.
Now, this appears to be, this is like a guide, an information packet for people to take and advocate on your behalf?
Yes. Yep. So we're
It's
looking.
like a training manual or information packet.
Yes.
But it's all over the state because I see there's a list of, is this
library?
Yeah, is this every library in the state or?
It's probably the 5 counties in the Mid-Hudson Library System.
Oh, okay. So this isn't the whole state then.
No. But there are 66 libraries in the Mid-Hudson Library System.
I don't realize that until I was looking at this list.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, actually, it's amazing. I see here also, which I thought was an amazing statistic. You talk about funding, right, and how it's been cut and so forth. And so the current proposal of $87 million places library aid at 2014 funding levels. So that means that you are back to what you were funded back 7 years ago, but the needs have become that much greater. The cost of everything has become that much greater. So you really have to do a lot more with the dollar than you did before.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
exactly
that's
right.
a very interesting statistic there.
And libraries are one of the most effective users of tax dollars. Studies have been done that show for every dollar in tax funding we receive, we provide as much as $7, and in some cases even more in valued services. Because we're collaborating, because we're doing things together, because there's, economies of scale. People are spending $1 and getting $7 in services.
So tell me where you can you could do that, right?
Exactly.
So yes,
Yeah, what are the
and
government,
what a
arm
great
or
return on your
branch?
investment there.
It's a pretty good return, yeah.
Whenever you check out things at the library, if you look at your receipt to see something more than the day they're due back, it'll tell you save X number of dollars by borrowing these books.
Oh,
Yep.
that's
on
interesting.
on every checkout receipt, on every due date receipt, it says, the value of those items, the value of 2 books and a video, and that's not counting, the value of a story hour or a program
right.
or, a streaming video that you've watched or a class that you've taken online.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Now, the state funding, provides the state aid. The bulk of that provides funding for our library systems. So Mid-Hudson Library System gets the bulk of their funding from that state aid. So people might say, well, it's not local, but it really, really is, because we couldn't provide anywhere near the services locally without that system support.
Now, that aid pays for, what would our Kingston Library use state aid for?
Well,
payroll, roof, tax, well, whatever.
We do get $6,000 or $7,000 a year in state aid, and that goes into our general fund, and that goes to pay, yes, whatever we need it for, salaries or materials or whatever we need. Like I said, the bulk of that is going to our library systems, and our library systems are providing things like our common catalog. When you go in and look up an item and put it on reserve and do that kind of thing, that's not funded locally. That's funded at the system level. All of the vans and trucks that are going around bringing those interlibrary loans between libraries, that's a system level expense.
Okay. Because I was going to say, if there's $87 million divided by the 500 libraries in New York, that's $400,000 each library. You know what I mean? So there's greater costs. Thank you for explaining that. The system, the vans,
right. All of those
little
upper
old
level
Kingston,
things.
because you don't have vans and.
No, and that's one of
whatever,
those. That's one of those economies of scale.
Yeah.
If every library had to pay for their own catalog with maintenance and upkeep and subscriptions, we never would be able to provide what we provide.
Yeah, just paying for the software and everything.
Exactly, because that happens at the system level and it supports 66 libraries.
Yeah, okay.
It's much cheaper.
And those little vans are why you can put a hold on a book in another library on Monday and pick it up at ours sometimes as soon as Wednesday.
Wow. So, do you know offhand what, how much our Mid-Hudson Library System gets, and is that commensurate with what other library systems get? I mean, how is it equitably distributed?
It's a population-based formula.
Okay.
So the Mid-Hudson Library System is one of the larger systems outside of like Brooklyn and New York Public, and that's a whole different situation. Mid-Hudson Library System is the largest system in the state beyond those. So the 66 member libraries in 5 counties is, it's a big. So
you have a large library.
Large library
huge.
System, right?
Yeah, which works in our benefit.
It absolutely
because,
does.
The resources when you're talking population money is based on
7 million books available through the Mid-Hudson.
I think it's like 2 or 3 million.
2 or 3 million. It
But
used to be more.
certainly beyond that, we can get
Other things. We can also. Our system doesn't have it. They go to the systems around us, to the state library, and eventually it may come from the Library of Congress.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
I've actually seen somebody get something from the Library of Congress.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we also have legislative priorities. One of them you'll see on that sheet last month we were talking about trustees and library trustees. And one of the things that the Mid-Hudson Library System has really taken a leadership position on is making sure that our trustees are trained. And they provide outstanding training for library trustees that, frankly, 20 years ago didn't happen. So people would join a library board not really understanding what the job entailed or how to go about doing it.
Well, if you're not familiar, if someone hands you a profit and loss statement or a balance, a budget, here's the budget. Unless you've had some experience looking at it, you don't know, apples from oranges. So
exactly.
And to be a trustee, to be voting on these things, but controlling the purse strings, if you will.
Yep. And what the levels of the job are. One of the first things they do is provide a basic level of trustee training. This is the responsibilities of the trustees. These are the responsibilities of the director. These are the responsibilities of the staff. Here's how they all work together. Because often people will say, yeah, I'd like to be a library trustee, not really understanding what their responsibilities are.
They'll come in thinking they're going to run programs. Nope, that staff runs programs.
So what would you be looking for? Like just guidelines from the state that say, okay, every trustee has to have this, and this, or
exactly. We're looking for the state to
and then.
Well, it's happening locally. The Mid-Hudson Library System staff provide outstanding training.
Yeah, you had last month when you were on, we were talking about trustees and applying to be on the board and so forth. That booklet was tremendous. Yes. Yep. And really valuable for any type of board to a certain extent.
And one of the co-authors of that book is currently the executive director of the Mid-Hudson System, Rebecca Aldridge Smith. And that book was developed for the Mid-Hudson System, but it's now being used statewide.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pilgrim. Rebecca Aldrich Smith.
I bet she could trace herself. She might be a daughter of the American Revolution.
So they provide that basic training, and then they provide advanced level training, including that financial training and legal training and policy training, so that you really understand the decisions that you're making and how they affect your library and how that affects your community. It's pretty important.
Yeah.
And what they're looking for is a requirement saying that trustees need to have this training.
Yeah. So I see here increase. One of the legislative priorities that you're trying to advocate for is increase access to the library construction program.
Yes.
I know our neighbor to the north, Woodstock, has had a major public, elections and public discourse and about funding their library. How could there be? How can they get out of it? Is there money available for them to?
Well, there has long been state library construction funding, which Kingston Library has benefited from dramatically.
Wow.
We have had referendums for bonds, and we've gotten bequests, and we've been able to take the local money and make it go so much further because we do have access to this state construction aid.
Now, is that like a fund, revolving loan fund, or is it?
It's a grant.
Direct aid?
It's a grant. Yeah.
Competitive.
Competitive.
Every year they have X amount available,
Exactly.
and whoever writes the best proposal gets it?
Exactly. And there's certain priorities. They want you to be thinking about energy efficiency, accessibility. There's priorities within that. It's not for painting the walls or regular maintenance. They won't fund maintenance that should be happening.
Capital, big stuff.
Things that Kingston Library has benefited from in that way is replacing our roof many years ago. We got some funding.
That cost $80,000 or some ridiculous amount of money, right? I'm sure.
I want to say when all was said and done, it was in the hundreds of thousands.
Sure. And we need a new heater. Oh yeah. Well, guess what? Another $500,000, not half, $100,000. It's crazy.
Yes. But because we had access to this library construction money, and, what we were encouraged to do was to not just replace the roof, but look at how to make it more sustainable. So there's a white membrane roof up there to, aid in our energy efficiency in the summertime. So we did that. We also got money to insulate our attic. Same reason, energy efficiency. Right. We replaced our windows years ago, if you remember. And it not only looks more beautiful, but it's more energy efficient.
Quieter, warmer, cooler. Yeah.
So over the years,
they put snow guards up, or they reinforce the snow guards because with the slanted roof, it keeps the snow from falling down in the parking lot onto the cars and onto the people. So
we've even received some of this construction aid for our outdoor program space this year that we're in the process of completing, and that's to expand our access to outdoor. We now can have more programs outdoors.
Right.
And this, what they're saying by increasing access is, it's a matching grant. So the libraries that benefit from that have to put up some level of funding.
Oh, we have to have skin in the game.
Yes, which makes sense.
Which is equitable for other, makes the system fairer or more fair.
But what they're asking is for disadvantaged libraries in disadvantaged communities that maybe have lower income communities. They're asking to reduce that match. A very wealthy library in a very wealthy community might find it a little easier to meet that match.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas other libraries are going to struggle, and they're effectively boxed out of that program if they can't make a match. And they need it desperately.
And that's geographical. I'm sure the Katona Library doesn't need any grant matching funds, whereas...
Well, they may very well if they have an outstanding project, but they're going to have to match at a higher level than some of the lower income.
Makes it fairer,
And a lot of our libraries are Carnegie libraries. That means they're 75 to 100 years old.
Old buildings.
Yes. Buildings. Libraries are often... I know somewhere there's a statistic that gives the average age of libraries.
Do you know of any of the libraries in our Mid-Hudson are Carnegie, or closer ones? I know the Kingston is no longer.
Right.
No, but the original building in Saugerties is a Carnegie Library.
Building?
Yeah, we did a whole presentation on that.
There was a house next door. They bought the property and they put an extension on the building, but the main building was Carnegie Library.
Cool. Huh.
And there's lots of them around, and what's happening is we're running out of space. They can't handle the technology and things as easily.
And with the evolution of services, with more community groups using their libraries, with more programming happening, we need more public space.
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah.
It's not a
Well,
place to shelve books. It's a place for the community to come together, to learn from each other, to have programs, and you need big open spaces. For
Yeah, well, a quote-unquote library has evolved since Andrew Carnegie started writing checks.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
90 years ago, whatever, so.
I'm pretty sure some of them are over 100 years old because I was at the Saugerties Library's 75th anniversary, and that's a long time ago.
I want to say 100 because we did before the pandemic, so it had to be over a year ago. A presentation on the Carnegie Library in Saugerties. We'd done a lot of research and so forth on it, and I thought they were celebrating the 100th anniversary of the library and how that came to be. But when we look, we speak at Kingston Library, which is fantastic and it's wonderful. But when we look at the libraries in our area, you look at the town of Ulster, you look at the town of Woodstock, you look at town of Esopus, town of Saugerties, all of our libraries, like you said, Margie, have tremendous public space, and they also have some of them have renovated, some are newer. Town of Ulster, they built a whole new library. Town of Saugerties, they put the addition on. Of course, Woodstock is going back and forth about a new library building, and we have done a lot of work prior to the pandemic with the Ulster County libraries, as far as doing exhibits and meeting with them. And I have to say, I think libraries are probably the most connected organization to the community. I really do. And we see that every time you come once a month. You are so connected to the community and what's going on, the needs of the community. And I don't think people realize that sometimes about their libraries.
Well, as you're saying this, all the libraries you just mentioned in our community, they're all hubs of their respective communities.
Yes.
I don't know if that's the same everywhere, but at least in our neck of the woods, wow, that's interesting.
It
all those
absolutely
libraries, you hear them in the news, they have whatever, events.
And actually, in more rural communities, they're even more so because in many cases, they're the only show in town. So they are the place. Here in Kingston, we have this wonderful, vibrant community, and we have the benefit of some great community centers and some other organizations that we collaborate with. But in some communities, that's it. Their library is it, and they are the community space. So they need those buildings. And, lately, people are kind of shocked when they hear the proposed square footage of a library expansion or a library renovation, and they say, why do we need so much space? It's because, if you think about the community room at the Kingston Library and the smaller classroom spaces and the study rooms, it's not space that we use for our books or our collection, but it's necessary space for our community.
Yeah.
Yes, I know Town of Olive is another one, their library.
Yep.
Yeah, the community room up there, and they do a lot of events for the residents of the Town of Olive. I've been there when they've had book sales and craft sales.
Concerts.
Yes, absolutely.
The bigger the room, you're going to fill it. I've been in events of 10 people in the library. I've been in sold-out events, so
right.
There's always room for more, so the square footage shouldn't be that surprising,
No, but it is, with people not quite understanding how that square footage would be used.
Yeah, well, a third of it's hallways and stairwells, too, so, storage closet, janitor's closet, that adds up.
Yep,
so.
It does.
And one of the other things we wanted to talk about is on the list of people who are eligible, who serve the public and are eligible for the vaccines that are out, library workers are not included.
Really? Huh.
Yes.
So we can add that to the motor vehicle workers and the county clerk workers too, which is like insane, which I agree with you 100%.
They are not eligible?
No.
I thought
that is shocking.
Yeah, the county clerks throughout the state lobby to have, especially motor vehicle county clerk employees also.
And that's, that's
so
another
same
bit of
thing.
advocacy.
So
It's
yes,
the same situation we
Yes.
face with our staff.
Yeah.
You guys are practically, childcare.
Well, it's
for,
interesting because we're a little bit of retail, we're education workers, we're childcare, we're doing all of these different things, and I think because we are this unusual hybrid creature, we sort of fall off the radar for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now the CDC has classified library workers as education workers and therefore eligible. But at the state of New York level, we are not classified as education workers.
Yeah, that's, same as a DMV or clerks. County city hall workers, and those are to me, those are frontline
Yes.
public servants or whatever. Can't function without them, so they got to stay healthy. That's
Exactly. And not only do the workers need to stay healthy, there's potential, there's families, but there's also potential community spread. Heaven forbid someone at the DMV serving their public, serving their community, spread that disease inadvertently because they were not vaccinated. Suddenly we have, a really unfortunate problem.
And the same holds true with the library.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
exact thing. So are you advocating for it? You're
Separately from this, but yes, because that's a decision made by Governor Cuomo. He's really the person who's deciding who's eligible and who's not. So we are going directly to him. Certainly we've informed our assembly people and senators, but they are not really in the decision-making seat.
Right,
for
yes.
that.
We fall under the Department of Education for so many
They can
things
help
except for this.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, it really is. It's a very important issue.
But so anyhow, so if anyone's interested in advocating on the library's behalf,
If anyone wants to, they can call their
fantastic.
senators and assembly people. So locally, it would be Assemblyman Cahill and Senator Hinchy. And just give them a call and say, we know that the libraries are looking for support from you, from the state government, from policy and budgeting. I'm a library user, and please consider supporting your libraries as well as you can.
Now, if someone wanted to, our listeners said, I'm going to call, and that's great, I'm going to help support this. Can they get this guide from you guys? Or
Absolutely. If they want to call me and I can send them, a copy of it, a link to it, it's pretty interesting. Like you said, it's really informative.
Absolutely.
And
Is it available on your website?
Not on our website, but on the Mid-Hudson website it is.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
For Mid-Hudson Library System, I should.
Yeah, there's a ton of
Mid-Hudson
great
Library
info.
System. So those of you that are listening, you can go right on the Mid-Hudson Library System.
Website,
Google-
and that's
yeah.
midhudson.org.
And you can
Great.
be a library
Get the advocacy
lobbyist.
guide.
Library lobbyist.
Yep. We like to call ourselves advocates.
Advocates.
We are advocating for our communities.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we've chewed up a half hour.
Oh my
so
gosh,
we
that
gotta
went
go.
fast. Yeah. My
Margie,
goodness.
Ursela, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
stay healthy, and we'll see you in a month.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Dan.
Okay, thank you, Marjorie and Ursela from Kingston Library. And thank you, Nina and Cam, for bringing us this last quarter of Terrific Tuesday. It's now at the bottom of the hour, and you're with us on Kingston Community Radio, KCR at AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. Tuesday, February 23rd, 30 degrees here in Uptown Kingston. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by the Kingston Lions Club, serving the Kingston, Ulster County area since 1941. 901-9067, 845-901-9067 for more information about a local chapter that connects you to a global force for good. And Mid-Hudson Valley weather and forecast one more time. Today, cloudy. Wet snow or rain possible during the day, a high of 42. And tonight, partly cloudy with a few flurries possible, a low down to 27. Tomorrow, sunshine and clouds. And with an emphasis on that sunshine, high 47. Wednesday night, 25% chance of some wet snow or rain again, low of 33. Thursday, mainly sunny sky and a high of 39. Thursday night, mostly clear, low down to 19. And we'll be right back after these messages.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, this is Diane Eastwick from Athens, New York, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
It's 8:33 a.m., and you are listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ 920 on your AM dial, 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. KCR's talk radio, so call in 331-9255. This upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank, a powerful community bank as one that has leaders that are involved in their community. At Rondout Savings, they invest in the success of our community by working side by side with local people and local businesses. Rondout Savings Bank, always working for you in the community with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park. Also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. And thank you for underwriting this upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio. Let's get back to the on-air studio with Nina Postupack, Cameron Rylance, and Paul Hakim. Welcome back.
And it's the home stretch.
It is.
We are joined with Paul Hakim, or by Paul Hakim. Thank you. Welcome.
God, I love being on the home stretch.
Yeah, man. You are the
right? That's a
you are
good
the
thing.
anchor leg of Terrific Tuesday.
It's all downhill from here.
There you go.
Well, actually, on our first half hour, Nina was like, "Oh, I'm glad Paul's coming in because I want to hear what he has to say about the $2.5 million home sale in Kingston."
The largest home sale ever in the city of Kingston.
Yeah, the Courts
the one on
Mansion.
Pearl Street?
No, down on
Linsley.
Hasbrook Avenue,
Linsley Avenue, yeah.
Linsley. Is that
the
one
Courts
going down
Mansion.
Delaware?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
up on the left.
Yeah. Delaware, not Hasbrook.
Delaware.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
2.5, 2.5.
2.5.
I tell you what, that's a lot of house. So
Yeah, it is a lot of house.
From $1 per square foot.
And I think there's a lot of acreage there, too.
Yeah, from $1 per square foot perspective, it's probably not a lot of money. If you compare it to other
there
sales.
you go. Yeah.
Probably 20,000 square feet there, so call that
On a couple acres.
Well,
And it's
a
all
lot
been
of
renovated.
acres,
The house has been completely renovated.
so I don't think that's far-fetched, and hey, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Nice,
That's the house on top of the hill?
In the city of Kingston.
On top of the hill? Off
Yes.
off of Delaware?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
that's two houses.
Yeah.
There's the mansion, and then there's the
your gatehouse.
Three houses, yes, and
Yeah.
then you have
There you go.
then you have the stables too, the old stables.
And $100,000 of annual maintenance. So
Well, I
God
think
bless
that
them.
was that was a bed and breakfast. That was renovated into a bed and breakfast like 10 years ago.
It could have been. It
think
may
it
have
was.
been.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
No, so hey, listen, it's great. We need to catch up with an economy behind our residential real estate market.
Yes, we do. We do. Because the other end of the spectrum is the amount of need in this community right now, and you're absolutely right.
And great. Another person came from out of town with a lot of money and wrote a big check for a house. That's great for that one seller.
Right.
But, we've got a lot of businesses in trouble, and, our restaurants are, seem a little busy, but not enough. A lot of
They're
the
busy
restaurants.
once. They have a dinner rush, and that's it. There's no second turnover. There's no whatever.
Yep. And, even when they were busy, when things were good, it's hard to make it in that business. And, they earn a living, a good living in a lot of cases. But, it doesn't take much to get rid of that little bit of profit that boils to the top there, because they've got a lot of overhead taxes and, just operational costs.
Oh, yeah. A piece of equipment fails or, a major water leak, you're done. Here goes your profit for the year.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I've operated under.
Right. There's also, there's not much financing available to restaurants, especially.
Sure.
Because the banks,
high risk.
They're not the favorite things of the bank because their collateral's liquidation value is not worth a lot.
They want lots of up front or, matching.
Yeah, so, hopefully, vaccine distribution's going to kick up a little bit in an equitable manner. I keep hearing that word, but, I'm, concerned there's some shenanigans might be going on how things are being distributed.
Equitable.
And, especially if you go on the website and try to figure out, if you're eligible or not. It's kind of interesting. I've heard a lot of younger people who are vaccinated, and a lot of older people can't even get an appointment. So, we're missing something. We're missing something in the equation here. On
I
how
do
things
feel
are being doled out.
I feel very bad. I feel terrible for seniors, because seniors who really are struggling now to get an appointment, struggling with the technology, and then they've mastered that. They get on the list, and then they don't have any response. They don't know where to turn. It's really difficult, and I agree with you there. Well, for seniors right now.
And the website's amazing, because my wife's been online, and she'll sit for hours on the couch, and we've got some older friends, late 80s, mid 80s that are not even really on the computer, and there's no other way to get an appointment and stuff. And you got an 85, 86-year-old.
My dad woke up at midnight, or 11:50, got online at 11:55 several nights in a row to get Walgreens.
Really?
And from the time he clicked his, accept, book it, log back on and get my mother, try to sign up my mom, it was full.
Right.
Done. Sold
So
out.
apparently the drugstores seem easier for the people over 65, because only 65 and older can go to the drugstores. But all the other people that have these pre-morbidities, what was that technical term we just learned?
Yeah. New word, right? A lot of new words.
I don't even want to know.
Yes, that's true.
The pharmacies, you sign up in the pharmacies, and you have to create an account. You have to make an online account with Walgreens or whatever, which means you're in their system. The marketing, the following, the pop-ups.
Yes.
You just got sucked into their web just to get a vaccine. It's almost slimy to a degree.
Yeah, well, we use CVS, and
same thing though.
And that's just because our insurance company pushed us in that direction. They must have some kind of deal or something. And
ask Neil Smaller; he'll tell you all about it. CVS
yes, he will. Yes, he will.
That third-party drug layer that's in our federal system.
Really, so
terrible.
But their call system, like that marketing system, is awful. So I have a prescription, and if it's a month it's supposed to be refilled, the phone starts ringing. They have the auto dialers. And
2 days before.
You can't get off of the system. We've called the drugstore. We've called the 800 number. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll take you off. And the phone still rings and stuff. So we're trying to figure out how to block CVS. Yeah, really, it's
I know,
awful.
I'm getting I got 2 pills left, which I'm getting in 2 days. So, they don't need to tell you.
Yeah, no.
So got to be a better way. And then, the other thing, we saw, what was it, Dateline or one of the news shows about this, all the DNA testing, 23andMe and all this kind of stuff. I've been saying for a long time, it's like, listen, if you're going to do it, give them somebody else's name. Right? It's like, I'm John Doe or Mickey Mouse.
There's so many issues have come up with that.
Well, now they're talking about the Chinese own one of those companies the Chinese own, and they're trying to build their database so that they can do proactive marketing to you and saying, hey, you have this in your history, we see in your DNA, you should start taking this, right? So, so you think about that.
Marketing to your DNA.
Well, I was thinking there's problems with, people are finding out their father's not their father, and once those companies aren't legally obligated to protect that. So if the FBI says, I want all the DNA samples from upstate New York because we got to catch a criminal.
They have used that, I believe.
Yeah,
Ancestry.com, they have used it.
Doing this fun little thing to find out if I'm Hungarian or Italian, and 8 years later, there's a trooper knocking on your door saying, hey, your DNA was in a car that is of interest or whatever.
Well, you couple that with, I don't know if you've seen on Netflix, The Social Dilemma.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
It's scary.
So couple that with them knowing your DNA.
Right.
And having having all that kind of
an
stuff.
alumni in my camp made that move. Jeff Orlowski's an alumni, great,
Really?
good guy.
Yeah, but that's eye-opening.
That is eye-opening.
You don't realize how people are being manipulated, and I've noticed it. And I'm not that big on social media, but I have noticed on Right, but I did go on social media last week and saw it was your birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
55.
That's the best part of it.
That is,
but,
yeah. You find out who you forgot.
You know, that's what we think the best part is. But, you
Right.
know, the other side of that is, you know, it's all this information's out there. You know, people know that I liked your birthday or, you know, commented on your birthday. And, you know, I noticed when I go on there, you know, political views, you know, it's how come I only see news that I want to see or a perspective that agrees with me.
You Google LL Bean, I need a new pair of winter boots, LL Bean, and then for weeks, LL Bean will be in your pop-up ads for boots, coupons in your email. It's so connected. It's scary.
Yeah, it really is.
It is. No.
They know
Have you ever, like, we've done a little experiment in our family. Have you ever, let's talk about coffee pots or let's talk about security systems in our house. And then the next thing you know, up on my Instagram or up on my Facebook is the simple save for.
Listening to you.
Yeah. Yes.
And game, you know, video game systems and
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Alexa.
You and
Alexa, we have Alexa.
What do you mean? You and Dwayne talk about other stuff besides appraisals?
Yeah, right.
Appraisals and the county clerk at the DMV.
Yeah, right.
We saw 87 people today. Yeah.
But yeah, it's frightening. It really is frightening.
But moving forward, hopefully.
Hopefully everybody's house will sell for $2.5 million in the near future, huh?
That would be a nice little.
I also saw that fortunately that frivolous lawsuit by Neil Bender was thrown out of court by the judge.
Which one?
Neil Bender owns all the
yeah, I know he was suing Cuba and most of the Cuba board members individually.
Oh God!
Or are you talking about the lawsuit with the restaurateur suing the Kingstonians?
Yes, that's what. Yeah, because it was going to hurt his.
Where he was suing something else.
It's ridiculous. But meanwhile, all those properties hasn't lifted a hammer in them. They're still sitting there collecting dust.
Well, I've said it before, you know, I give Charlie Blackman a lot of credit. You know, he's gobbled up a bunch of stuff uptown, probably more than Neil Bender, and every single one of those buildings is under construction.
They're moving on, yes, exactly. He's opened a couple in the Kinsley.
And it's great. You know, the IDA took...
a phone call, Danson?
Yes, phone call.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Nina, I need the address to mail plate registrations back to the DMV.
I'm sorry.
The mailing address DMV. He's got to mail plates in.
Oh, sure. So it's Ulster County Clerk's Office, 244 Fair Street, Fair, Kingston, 12401.
And don't forget your $1 plate surrender fee.
Thank you, Paul. There you go.
I'm doing the registration for the renewal for plates, so.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for sending it in, too. We really appreciate that.
Hey, I support you guys. You guys do great work. When I was able to visit the place, everything was always well organized and everything. So, hey, we got to stay local.
Yes. Thank you so much. Keep our tax dollars right here in Ulster County.
Yeah, less money for Andrew.
Yeah, right.
You guys take care. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Thanks for calling in.
Well, it's Terrific Tuesday, so it's got to be a terrific show.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You guys stay safe and stay healthy.
Yeah.
You too. Be well.
Yep. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
That's an interesting thing, too. Have you seen that power station that they proposed?
Yes.
It came out of nowhere? That seems kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, you know, just like what, you know, the lawyers always say, you know, you don't need a reason to file a lawsuit. You don't need a reason to file something crazy with the planning board either.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere.
Right.
So it's amazing what some people come up with here. You know, all the different places you could put a cogen station or something.
Yeah, pump up station. That's
right. So it's interesting.
It is.
Interesting what people are proposing these days. But, you know, hopefully Uptown will, you know, recover and, you know, we'll get some momentum here and that certain individual will start doing stuff with his buildings.
Instead of worrying about everybody else.
Going back to that.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
Take care of your own house first.
That's right. You know, there's so much opportunity. Sure, COVID has slowed things down a little bit, but, you know, there was an opportunity and there was some discussion about the SUNY building being a hotel and then Yalom's building being, you know, a component to that. Move it forward.
Right.
You know, that
the
stuff,
SUNY building's just sitting there, right?
you know, other parts of the country are booming. Things are happening. People, you can't find an empty building to renovate. It's really amazing, and it's sad that we've got an owner that's not doing things
Right.
with his building.
Sitting on his property,
Yeah.
Big real estate guy, apparently very smart. Bring it here. Come on, do something here. That's all. That's all we ask.
That's right.
Right.
Taxes. We need more tax
Absolutely.
revenue.
Yep. Spend the
Yes.
money on 2x4s, not on lawyers.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Exactly.
Maybe that's what the signs should start saying uptown.
Yeah.
More sheetrock, less lawyers. Exactly, yeah.
Well, it's hard enough to get things approved and things over the finish line. As you've watched with the Kingstonian and any other development project or even repositioning project.
Well, those 2 or 3 big hotel apartment buildings complexes were just purchased by those 2 guys.
Yes, it was. It was.
So that's all quote unquote market rate housing. It said so right in the paper. How come there was no outcry about people demanding a portion of that be affordable housing? The city passed that resolution. Moving forward, all development, 5 units or more has to have 10%.
I think it's because pre-existing housing.
Well,
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
hundreds. There's like 70 or 90 units that aren't even rented because they need renovations.
Right.
So
where's the outcry for that? That's what
But help me with this. Define affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm serious. Define affordable? I'm in the business. I do affordable housing financing, and I cannot figure out the thresholds of where pricing should be. It's so subjective. Yes, we do have a crisis, and yes, it needs to be addressed. But our problem is supply. Okay, because we don't have enough supply. Great, we had these 4 apartments. I think it was how many 1,000 units or something.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's existing inventory. So why are we so concerned with rents going up? Rents are going up everywhere. Okay. If that's the concern, tax the Airbnbs more. The Airbnb people are taking more things and more housing off the inventory than the Kingstonian will supply. Or 5 Kingstonians will supply.
Yeah, and people buying. Nick's friend Chris, his house that he sold on Wall Street, beautiful 2-family home. Woman that bought it, a banker from New York City, is making it into a single-family home again.
Single family.
Beautiful 3-bedroom apartment off the market.
Right.
Right there. Walking distance from uptown. Yep. I know another house on Fair Street, they did the same thing. The people bought the house next door. All they do is Airbnb it. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, or 2 apartments in the building, and now all they do is Airbnb it.
Right.
But maybe they're paying taxes. Who knows?
People don't understand the economics and the underlying economics. Rupco's able to do all the great things that they do, and yes, there is some people don't want things in their yard or against it, but they are providing a great service in the area. But it's mostly grant funding. Okay, so you can't afford to do it otherwise. When you have a project like the Kingstonian, or they're proposing the other apartments up on Lucas Avenue, the margins, even with the higher rents, are so tight, the investor that's putting the cash into the deal is lucky to see a 4 to 6% return. Okay, so for that developer, if he's got that liquidity to invest in the project, are you going to go and try to get a 4 to 6% return in an apartment complex, which you got to manage, you got to work, it's deteriorating, you got to deal with the 3 T's, tenants, trash, and toilets. Those are the 3 T's of being a landlord.
Tenants, trash,
right?
Yeah.
So that's the downfall, right?
Yeah.
So, well, otherwise, that guy's looking at, should I just take my $1 million or whatever that base investment is and put it in the stock market, get a comparable
Make
return,
12% or whatever.
well, or even just a comparable return, and just get a statement in the mail every month.
Headache, yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
You're right.
that's the dilemma. People think, oh, that greedy landlord. It's a lot of pain and agony.
Absolutely.
And I shared on Facebook or LinkedIn a while ago, where a dollar and the breakdown of a dollar came from the National Apartment Association, and it totally backed up. All the operating costs, the taxes,
Maintenance, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, look at the taxes, and that's where the
town of Esopus. Imagine owning an apartment house in town of Esopus.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And that's what a lot of renters don't understand, because it's a disconnect. You as a homeowner, you get your tax bill and you go, oh my God,
Right.
Hey, and it makes you think about who you're going to vote for or what extra programs you want the government to provide and that type of stuff. If you're a renter, all you know is My rent
That
went
went
from
up.
900 to 1100.
I'm paying this guy. What's he doing with all my money?
And it's like, you know, and then the landlord's like, oh my God, I just got my tax bill in.
Went from 15 to 17,000.
Well, that's right. I mean, the tax bills for commercial properties and multifamilies have doubled over 10 years. Doubled.
And rents haven't doubled.
And rents are starting to catch up now because you've had some long-term legacy landlords who, you know, pick a complex, you know, or complexes. There were long-term owners that owned it forever, you know, probably
Deferred maintenance.
minimal amount of debt, okay, but still there was deferred maintenance, okay, and the tax bill kept creeping up. They didn't have debt because they owned it for 30 or 40 years. Now you got a new owner come in, they buy it, okay, even at a lower price, forget it was at a higher price or whatever the number was, now they've got a debt component.
30 years of
right?
debt.
You know, so, you know, you look at Dutch Village, Stony Run, you know, those were big entities that were family and, you know, money was thrown at those in the 70s. When was Stony Run and Dutch Village? It was the 70s. So that's been retired for a long time. So they didn't have the pressures of that additional cash flow need because
that service
they
is
pay a
gone,
little bit
yeah.
more. It's like, hey, and, you know, we're the same way. I've got tenants in some residential buildings that have been with us for 10, 15, one of the guys just passed away, God bless him, 22 years in one of our apartments. And, you know, they're not tenants, they're friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like they call us on our cell phones and like, you know, hey, I need this done. And we can't raise the rent. You know, I feel bad. I got to go to them when I do need to raise the rent. And I got to go, hey, listen, you know, I haven't raised your rent in 4 years. Okay. And here, my insurance bill has gone from this to this over that 4-year period. My taxes have gone from this to this over that 4-year period.
Yeah.
But that's the disconnect with the
So
renters.
it's that disconnect, yeah.
And that's why I think, just like with, I think I mentioned this before, just like with commercial real estate. In a commercial real estate deal, my tenants pay, they'll pay $7, $8 a square foot net rent. Then, if they're in an office building and the tax bill comes and it's $10,000, they know that they're going to get 32.6% of that tax bill passed through to them. Yeah. They're going to get 18% or 32% of the garbage bill, you know, the common electric bill, the snow plowing bill. So when that's the case, they're not going to call and go, the plow guy only came once. He didn't come in the middle of the storm. Because they know, you know, because when they do that to me, it's like, hey, I'll have the plow guy park in the parking lot all day and just plow this all day.
Well, it's going to cost you $100.
You're paying 32% of that or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
Right.
But then, you know, you get back to, I want to say what's affordable, defining that affordable. In our community, it's so, you know, affordable for a guy that washes dishes or affordable for a new CPA who just got a job at a firm uptown or, you know, an equestrian person up in Saugerties or the affordable thing is the boondoggle.
Right. And now all these distributed workforce people, you know, it's like, hey, I was paying $3,000 a month in the city for a 1-bedroom and, you know, hey, I'm going to come up here. Sure, I'll pay $1,500 a month for that 2-bedroom. You know, it's half of what I was paying. I get the quality of life. So that's the perspective, you know, that we're facing, and you know, it's kind of turned things upside down a little bit.
It has. Yeah, no, absolutely. I know we only have 5 minutes left, but so are you familiar with the individuals that bought Stony Run and blah blah those apartment buildings? I thought it was interesting, and I had never heard about of how they financed it. Did you see that?
Yes. So
let's just talk about that a little bit because that's a really interesting concept to me.
Okay. So I had involvement consulting on that. So
okay.
I'll just stay very high level.
Okay.
But yeah, they had an equity partner came in that provided the debt and a piece of the equity. So apparently that partner came in with around $12 million of equity and provided about $60 million worth of debt component. Then they went out and they did crowdfunding.
So talk about crowdfunding. I had never heard that terminology before or the concept.
Right. So, you know, they did a Reg D filing raise. So I can go out on the internet and I can file with the SEC a piece of paper and I can go out and I can raise up to $1 million from up to 100 different people with this light registering with the SEC. So I can go out and say, hey, I'm opening this store and go out and raise the money. Since they were raising over $1 million and broadcasting it to a wider audience, they had to do another level of filing with the SEC, which is very expensive to do. But then they could go post it on Facebook, on the internet, and do a general solicitation.
So you become a shareholder if you buy in?
Yeah, you buy, just like you go buy a stock. Typically in that type of deal, the owner or sponsor will say, hey, I'm raising $10 million and it's $50,000, $100,000 threshold. With this, I think they allowed you to come in with anything. So you could have come in and had $5,000.
0.0002.
Right. I saw another project in Indianapolis where the sponsor kind of turned that around a little bit, and you paid a little bit more for rent, and over time you earned ownership in the complex.
Oh, that's an interesting concept.
Right? Yeah. So kind of like that reverse mortgage thing.
Yeah.
But in reverse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So, the longer you
Creative
stayed,
financing.
you were eligible and you earned and accrued shares to, eventually, that
You
pool
own that suite.
Well,
Or
that
became
pool-
a condo type thing?
Well,
or,
that pool of owners that were doing that ended up vesting into like 3 or 5% ownership of the complex.
Of the building or whatever.
So over time, you'd get a dividend check.
Right.
So it wasn't condo or anything. It was just, you became an investor.
Oh, all right.
Like
Yeah.
giving you, instead of Discover Card giving you 2% back in cash, that apartment landlord was giving you the 2% back in equity in the building.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Interesting. Huh.
over time, even if you moved, if you were there long enough to get something tangible, you'd have that equity in perpetuity moving forward. And I think they had some buyout provision if you moved out that they would offer to buy you out at some calculation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's cool things. But, again, that gets somebody engaged and
home ownership, vested.
It gets people paying attention to what's going on around them. How many people you talk to, and I know you're in politics and you've got a lot of friends, but how many friends really know what you do? Really know what you do, okay? And I know you're very capable, but we've got to stop this voting for people into office because you like them as opposed to their abilities, okay?
Well, just because there's a D or an R at the end of their name.
If they're not competent,
all right, we got to go,
if they're not competent, it's going to cost us more.
Exactly. All right, thanks everybody. Terrific Tuesday. Paul, thank you so much.
Paul.
Sorry, Dan, we ran late, but bye everybody.
Bye. Have a terrific Tuesday.
Thank you, folks, and thank you to all of our guests today. We had Dr. Alan Roberts and Margie and Ursela from the Kingston Library and Paul Hakim, developer in the Kingston area. And thank you for being with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, WGHQ. Tuesday, February 23rd, and it's about 32 degrees right now here in Uptown Kingston. And this last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank, with a long history of serving local communities and maintaining a strong tradition of customer service excellence while providing each customer with the personal attention they deserve. Rondout Savings, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. And until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we wish you every success in growing and developing Kingston and all our neighboring communities. We now return you to Real Country Radio.
Country Radio of the Hudson Valley, WBNR Beacon, WLNA Peekskill, WGHQ Kingston, and online at Real Country HV.